Let's look at this question. Four friends A, B, C, D played a game of poker. Initially, the number of chips they had was in 60s, 40s, 50s, and 70s respectively, such that each one of them had a prime number of chips. Okay, they played 6 rounds of games, such that the chips were only transferred among them. It is also known that. So first off, let me record the possible chips that each one of them could have had. A, B, C, and D. All of them have prime. So 61 and 67. These are the possible prime numbers that A has. B is in 40s. So 41, 43, 47. C is in 50s. So 53, 59. D is in 70s. So 71, 73, and 79. These are the possibilities for A, B, C, D for the initial value. Okay. They lost 10 chips in each round and still ended up with a prime number of chips. There are 6 rounds that are taking place, and if A is losing 10 chips in every round, either he will reach 1 or he will reach 7. If he is finally having prime number of chips, this is not the case. A initially had 67 chips. This is no. Okay. The number of chips with B in each round formed an arithmetic progression. Okay. So if he had 41, it would be plus 6n, because in every round he has one n. There are final chips that he has would be 41 plus 6n, or 43 plus 6n, or 47 plus 6n. Final value would be this, initial value would be any of these. Okay. The next information is the chips with D were all the possible numbers between 71 and 77, both inclusive, but not in any specific order. No number in this range was excluded. Okay. So probably this means that they're talking. There are 7 numbers here. If no number in this range was excluded, I'm guessing they're talking of all the 7 states, the initial states, and the score after every 6 round. So let me record it that way. A, B, C, and D. You will have initial state, then you will have round 1, round 2, round 3, round 4, round 5, and round 6. For A, it is easy to fathom because we know 67, 57, 47, 37, 27, 17, and 7. This is what is happening with A. The storyline is known to us. For D, it will be somewhere 71 to 77, 7 numbers. So at this time, I can say 79 is definitely not the starting point for D. Okay. B ended up with the number of chips that A had at the start of the game. Okay, so at the end of round 6, B has 67. Now, see, 41 plus 6n cannot lead you to 67. 67 minus 41 is 26, which is not a multiple of 6. So this will not be the case. 43 plus 6n, 43 plus 24 is 67. So yes, this is a possible case. 47 plus 6n. 6n is not 20, so this is not the possible case. So for B also the storyline is perfect now. This is 43, this is 47, this is 51, this is 55, this is 59, this is 63, this is 67. We know everything about A and B. Wonderful. The number of chips with D were even after rounds 1, 3, and 5, while the number were odd after 2, 4, and 6. Okay. So, given that in the range 71 to 77, there are 4 odd numbers and 3 even numbers, his distribution will be odd, even, odd, even, odd, even, odd. This is the distribution they are talking of. Fine. The number of chips with C after rounds 1 and 4 was a perfect square. Okay, after round 1, C is supposed to have a perfect square. Let's see. Initially, D will have either 71 or 73. and C will initially have either 53 or 59. These are the two possibilities. Don't you? Now see, the total number of chips in the game will not change. Total number of chips in the game will remain the same. A is losing 10. A is losing 10. B is gaining 4. So C and D have to be in such have to change in such a way that the net change they have is +6, so that total number of chips remain the same. If C initially had 53, he either needed +12, which is impossible. If he had +12, this would need -6. If it goes to -6, it would fall below the range of 71. So 53 cannot go to 64. If it goes to say 49, if it C goes to 49, from 53 it goes to 49. Okay, then it would have to go to how much further? It has -6, it goes to 49, 4 under, so it will reach -10. So they would need to go +10. Okay, you can't go +10 either, because it will either lead you to 81 or 83. Both those cases. What I'm talking of is, say if this was 49, this will now turn into 81 or 83, and both these are outside the acceptable range of 71 and 77. So we can now state with confidence, C definitely did not have 53 in the beginning. C definitely had 59 in the beginning. Okay. Now if C had 59 and he has to reach a perfect square at the end of round 1, he can either reach 49 or reach 64. If he is reaching 49, I have -10 here, I have -10 here, -10 here, +4 here, so -16 as of now. So I would need to do +16 here, which is impossible to do. It has to lie in the range 71 to 77, which means I can't go to 49 here. That is a mistake. So I have to necessarily go to 64 here, and if this is +5, here I will necessarily have +1 now, -10 +4 +5. So here I will either have 72 or 74. Fine. This is going to be about round 4. The perfect square number of C I'm not talking of, because I don't know about the other conditions. Next point is, both C and D had 74 chips at the end of round 3. At the end of round 3, both of them had 74 chips, which is a wonderful thing, because now I know one more thing. If you have 74 chips at the end of round 3, you cannot have 74 chips at the end of round 1. So he definitely had 72 chips here and 71 chips here. Okay. Also, we were told he was supposed to have even chips at the end of every odd round. So he has 76 chips here. Okay, this is also known. Now I can potentially look at the perfect square number of round 4 of C. So we can either go to 64, again see, -10 +4 -10. If I had -10 +4 -10, I would need a balance of +16 here. +16 would lead me to beyond the range of 77. So that is not possible. Can't have that. So you don't have 64 here. The other perfect square you can move to is 81. So if you have 81 here, 74, 81, you have +7 here. So -10 +4 +7, you have a +1 here. So you would need a -1 here now. This would be 73. Wonderful. Wonderful. Also, I can calculate the value in round 5 for C now. This is -10. This is +4. This is +3. So there has to be a +3 here as well. This would be 84. Okay. Now everyone except D ended up with a prime number of chips. Okay, everyone except D ended up with a prime number of chips. So in round 6, D is supposed to have a non-prime number of chips. The only numbers that are not used up for D so far are 75 and 77. Any of those two can be at the top. Correspondingly, we have 77 here or 75 here. Okay, let's look at C's value. This is minus 10. This is plus 4. If it is 76 to 77 plus 1, if it is plus 1, it will have to go to 89. This is an acceptable case, wonderful. If it is going from 76 to 75 minus 1, so he would need to go 7 back, he would need to go to 77, which means it would no longer be a prime number. So this is an unacceptable case. This is an unacceptable case. This is an unacceptable case. Now the only number left is round 2 number for C. Let's do that. You have minus 10 here. You have plus 4 here. You have plus 3 here. So you'll also have plus 3 here. So this will be 67. Now we have the precise numbers of chips that each friend had at the end of every round. Let's get individual questions. What was the total number of chips used in the game? 67 plus 43 is 110. 59 plus 71 is 130. 110 plus 130 adds up to 240. So answer will be option B, 240. At the end of how many rounds did C have more chips than everyone else? Not at the end of the first round, not at the end of the second round, not at the end of the third round. At the end of the fourth round, yes, he did. At the end of the fifth round, yes, he did. At the end of the sixth round, yes, he did. So 3 rounds. Option A. After which round was the difference in number of chips with A and B the least? A and B are supposed to have minimum difference. First, they have 24, and this gap keeps on reducing at the rate of 14. So let's move. First they have 24, then they have 10, then they have minus 4, then they have minus 18. So at the end of round 2, this is also identified. At the end of which round did D have 75 chips? In our storyline, he had it at the end of the second round. So again, for question 4 of this set, answer will be option D, round 2.